One of the hottest video game companies right now is Blizzard, but not for the reasons you would actually expect them to be. It's a company that's been around for a long time, a long pedigree of excellent games, and of course they released Diablo 3 recently on the Nintendo Switch, so you would think maybe that is what people were talking about Blizzard for, something in a positive light, but we haven't seen that at all. If anything, most of the publicity that Blizzard has been getting very recently is very negative. Of course, a lot of this is stemming from the recent actions at BlizzCon with Diablo Immortal being announced for mobile devices. But Blizzard just seems to be going in this really strange direction now, and this new interview that just surfaced today really shows that something is changing at Blizzard. There's definitely a change of guard, and it's probably not what Blizzard fans are expecting or necessarily wanting from the company. So what's going on? What's the latest with the Diablo Immortal situation? And is Blizzard actually working on more mobile games, showing that they don't know their audience all that well? It looks like they are. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about what Blizzard is currently doing and why it's just a huge mess.
Hey, RGT 85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! So in case you're not familiar with the Blizzard situation, let me catch you up to speed. Every year Blizzard does an event called BlizzCon, which is pretty much the premier event for Blizzard and all of their games. Of course, they'll talk about things like upcoming projects, DLC that they're working on for their main core games, and things of that nature. Blizzard, of course, is a company that has been around for a long time, with a pedigree of games such as World of Warcraft, and of course the Diablo series, which is very popular nowadays. Of course, a lot of this is rooted in PC gaming, as Blizzard primarily is a PC company. Sure, they branch off into things like consoles and things like that, but most of the time all of their efforts are concentrated on the PC side of gaming because that's where they got their start. The point and click stuff, the mouse adventure games that you can get with Blizzard are just pretty much standard and synonymous with PC gaming. Well, at BlizzCon 2018, a lot of people were expecting some Diablo 4 announcements. Diablo 3 is a game that has been out for quite a while. Like I said at the start of the video, it also recently just came out on the Nintendo Switch, but a lot of people are hoping for Diablo 4 to be announced, showcased, and unveiled at BlizzCon for this past year. But they did not get that. What they got instead was something that a lot of people feel like is a slap to the face for Diablo fans, and that is Diablo Immortal, a mobile-only game that will not be coming to PC or console at the time of this unveiling of the game. And there was a lot of backlash for it. Of course, Blizzard got on stage and was asked questions about it, if it was coming to PC, and they said no. They got booed, and then they were like, oh, well, don't you have smartphones?
The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
You can play on your tablet too.
Which I thought was just very disrespectful and really sort of demeaning towards your audience. So what ended up happening? Well, of course, Blizzard uploaded these videos onto YouTube, showcasing both the trailer for the game and a cinematic event for the game. And they got bombarded with downvotes and a lot of negative comments because it's not what people wanted. But instead of doing something about that, they just sort of played into what a lot of gamers were fearing. Dislikes ended up disappearing from the video. Comments were being moderated and actually deleted on these videos as well. And it's something I've never seen before. I've heard, of course, about people, artificially inflating likes and things like that on a video through different websites and buying likes, but as far as removing dislikes, this is something that's pretty much unprecedented in the world of YouTube. But there's concrete information that shows a big fluctuation in dislikes on the Diablo video for Diablo Immortal. Now, it could just be something like YouTube is getting rid of, sock accounts and things like that and deleting these accounts, thus removing the dislikes on the video, but the turnaround time on that was just so fast, and it was just so crazy to see this whole meltdown of a situation and how Blizzard was pretty much sticking to their guns with Diablo Immortal being a mobile-only game. But you would think, okay, Blizzard obviously sees that this is a mess of a situation, that a lot of their core gamers and a lot of their core fans are not fans of the direction that this game is going in. So maybe they'll do something else. Maybe they'll sort of do an announcement to quell fears. Of course, there is the rumor that Diablo 4 was supposed to be the last thing thing that was showcased at BlizzCon for Blizzard, but instead they went with Diablo Immortal, and Diablo 4 didn't even show up at the event. But you gotta think, you know, Blizzard is a company that's been around forever. They know how to sort of quell fears. They know how to, you know, calm people down, but they don't. They actually did the complete opposite in a recent interview, and it just pissed off people more. So what happened in this interview? Well, let's talk. In an interview with a member of Blizzard, they went on to say the following, and I'll have a link to the article that I used in the description box down below. In terms of Blizzard's approach to mobile gaming, many of us over the last few years have shifted from primarily playing desktop to playing many hours on mobile. And we have many of our best developers now working on new mobile titles across all of our IPs. Some of them are external partners like Diablo Immortal. Many of them are being developed internally only, and we have information to share on these in the future. I will also say that we also have more new products in development at Blizzard than we've ever had in our industry, and our future is very bright. So people are mad. People are mad that you're doing mobile games. People are mad that you're making bastardized versions of your mainline games on mobile, like Diablo Immortal. So instead of saying something like, we understand that there's going to be backlash over the Diablo Immortal situation, we're working on more core games for the PC and potentially for consoles, you just tell people, hey, we're doing more mobile games because we like playing mobile games nowadays. Now look, don't get me wrong. I understand that the mobile games industry is a huge industry that makes millions and potentially billions of dollars for a lot of companies. So I get that. I get that there's a lot of mobile players out there, but you have to know your audience, and most importantly, you have to respect your audience, because if your audience isn't the core people that are checking out your mobile games, then casual people probably won't flock to it as much as you think. So what I mean by that is basically look at what Nintendo is doing with mobile games. These mobile games that Nintendo is doing with things like Super Mario Run and things like that are not, you know, taking away from mainline games from their franchises. Now, Nintendo is a large company, much like Blizzard is, but they're not putting their top talent on something like Super Mario Run. They're putting their top talent in their bread and butter stuff on Nintendo Switch games or even 3DS games, because they know that's where most of their profit is going to come from. Yes, these mobile games will make them a lot of money, but Nintendo seems to take those mobile games and just put it back into the company. And instead of focusing on things like robust multiplayer experiences on a mobile device, they put it back into their main games and their main stuff where their main fans are, because a lot of mobile gamers, I feel, are just fair weather fans. They go and jump from the next thing. Look at something like Pokemon Go, which saw a sharp decline. Look at something like Candy Crush Saga, which was all the rage nowadays. Mobile gamers are very fickle, and mobile gamers, unfortunately, have to deal with a lot of DLC and microtransactions because most of these games are either free to play or free to start. So what Blizzard is doing is essentially saying, hey, we don't really care about PC games anymore. We want this mobile market, and we want to tap into this mobile market. And you have to remember who owns Blizzard nowadays, and that is Activision. And I feel like a lot of this is potentially stemming from Activision themselves more so than Blizzard, because could you imagine, you know, working on a passion project and being a PC gamer for so many years? Yes, it's fine to want to expand into other avenues. Yes, it's fine to want to expand your brands and your companies, but saying something like you have your main people and your main talent working on these mobile games is just absolutely incredible. Like, it's such a smug thing to say, because you're like, oh, well, you know what, PC gamers and console gamers, you're gonna play our mobile games anyways, because this is what we want to do, and this is where we see that we can make a lot of money. People don't want mobile games from Blizzard. Something like what Nintendo does, like I said before. Their mobile games are just simply little bite-sized treats, and they're basically an introduction into the world of Nintendo. I honestly feel like Blizzard doesn't see it that way. I honestly feel like Blizzard sees this as a new market that they can sort of corner, because let's face it, Blizzard games are sort of slow to come out. Yes, there's things like expansion packs and DLCs, but mainline games, look at Diablo 3. This is an old game from what, 2011, 2012? It was just recently released on the Nintendo Switch as well. So they really know how to draw out their games. They really know how to get the most bang for their buck with their mainline games. But when gamers are mad at you, when PC gamers are mad at you, when console gamers are mad at you, because you're focusing so much on mobile, and then you don't have anything positive to say, you don't have anything to give to the PC gamers that have supported you and pretty much built your company from the ground up. You don't have anything to give to these console gamers who have adapted your games and really enjoyed their games, but instead you're trying to pander to this new audience that admittedly may end up, you know, becoming very successful for Blizzard. But honestly, a lot of Blizzard titles, to me at least, don't look like something that they would be very successful on mobile games. You look at something like Super Mario Run and Pokemon Go. Those franchises are known throughout throughout the world. Those franchises have brand recognition and huge name value. What does Diablo have when it comes to name value? I feel like Diablo is definitely assimilated with the PC. I feel like Diablo is definitely assimilated with console gamers. I don't think it has that reach to get, you know, your mom or your grandma who owns a smartphone to check out Diablo Immortal. It doesn't seem like that market is going to be nearly as big as Blizzard is anticipating, but I guess they want to sort of try out this market, and I wish them luck, because the mobile market can be very lucrative if you're successful, but for every success in the mobile market, there are hundreds and hundreds of failures. Yes, of course they're going to have things like marketing and all sorts of bells and whistles for whenever Diablo Immortal launches, but to just spit in the face of your fans like this, to spit in your fan base's face and just say, hey, you're getting more mobile games and you're gonna like them, it's just crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy, and I don't think I've ever seen a situation where there's been so much backlash that they can't even come forward and say anything positive. They can't give a small morsel of PC information for an upcoming PC game. They can't even show a teaser trailer for something like Diablo 4. It's just a crazy situation, and the smugness and arrogance that Blizzard is showcasing just shows that maybe they're out of touch with gamers. Maybe they don't really know their market as well as they think they do anymore. But I just wanted to bring this to your guys' attention because it's honestly very fascinating to me. I've never quite seen a situation like this before, because with so much backlash, you think they would try to do something positive to quell people's fears, but instead they're just going in the opposite direction and, you know, giving the middle finger to everyone. So let me know in the comments section down below what you think of this situation. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest Blizzard fan in the world, but as an outsider looking at the fan base and looking in to what is happening, it's absolutely disgusting. I can't believe that something like this is going down. And as always, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.